live in an oil town. Need to say more. I don't know how many detergents I've tried, but my sister made me try the new Ajax. She was right. Ajax makes both t-shirts as white as the rest of my wash.
Buy now the new Ajax just for $4.99. It's morning with the news, Studio 68.
Good morning and welcome everyone to your favorite TV news program, Studio 68. This is Ana Paula, and as you know, this is our usual introduction with various news and facts of the day. With my colleague Camila, she will share with us the weather. We're with you, Camila.
Thank you so much, Ana Pao. Today the weather will be kind of cold. We woke up with a temperature of 39 degrees Fahrenheit and a maximum of 42 is expected. It's look like freezing today, so wear your warmest clothes to keep you warm in this chilling day. Now let's return with my partner Ana Pao to discuss the shockest news of the day.
Thank you, Cami. Yesterday, January 30, in Chicago, the City Council approved a measure to require registration with the city collector of all legally owned firearms. It will become effective 60 days after it is signed by Major Richard J. Daley, who proposed the ordinance. Today, during the Vietnamese New Year holiday, known as Tet, the Northern Forces, together with the outrageous Viet Cong guerrillas organizations, raided the capital of the country commanded by General Ho Chi Minh. They have taken over the air base, the radio stations, and the presidential palace. I have just been informed that the embassy was raided by Viet Cong. Ivana, please join us from the embassy where the attack took place. We are with you, Ivana.
Thank you, Nepal. And yes, today at 5 a.m. in the morning, a command of 19 sappers made a hole in the 2.4 height meter wall and trespassed the U.S. Embassy. Several officers were killed in the first attack and failed to enter the building. The sappers simply occupied the chancery grounds. Some of them were killed or captured by the American reinforcements, who landed on the building's roof 6 hours later after the attack. Right now at 11:20 in the morning, the embassy and grounds are being secured, with a total of 5 U.S. servicemen, along with the 18 sappers killed and one of them captured. This is all the information we have at the moment. I am the reporter Ivana, and we return back to the studio with Ana Pao. This is Studio 68, informing the nation.
Thank you, Ivana. And well, we have just contacted one of the main parties involved in the situation. On the line, we have Ramon, one of the best-known journalists in the country, who is going to share information about the disturbances that the Vietnamese Communist campaign has caused.
Thank you, Ana Pao. And yes, for what we've been informed, the Viet Cong, along with the Communist Liberation Army, is going to attack many points in the city of Saigon. Since midnight in Vietnam, they have been attacking 2 police stations, an electric facility, and even a militant Buddhist headquarters near the center of the town. Still, the Liberation Army is creating a council to direct the city of Saigon, which is right now under an outrageous rifle battle and shootout because of all the attacks by the Liberation Army. These attacks are also continuing on the old imperial capital that is over 400 miles away from the north. And yes, the attack on the US Embassy is going to be an important hit to South Vietnam, and it will be decisive on the War of Vietnam. Studio 68, informating the nation. Back to you.
Thank you, Ramon, for the information. And well, we'll continue receiving information about the latest that has been happening in Vietnam. This and more in Studio 68, Informating the Nation.
In just over 2 days, Vietnam experienced one of the deadliest periods of the war, included 100 deaths and 900 injured from both sides. The battles in Saigon were not held because the attacks occurred in each of the main cities of the country and most of the provincial capitals. The coordinated nature of the attacks suggests a vast idealization, raising issues about whether the intelligence department of the United States or the Vietnamese knew of them in advance.
And continuing with more information, we have a reporter from a well-known South Vietnamese news program on the line, who will share more information about what is happening in Vietnam. We go with you, Rosa.
Thank you, City 68. About what happened, I can say that the Viet Cong organized attacks down the length of South Vietnam. Massive buildups of North Vietnamese army regulars continue at Khe Sanh. Thousands of enemy troops are positioned ready to strike at Khe Sanh, the western anchor of the demilitarized zone. The Pentagon is less concerned about the Viet Cong attacks on the city than with the prospect of onslaught against Khe Sanh.
Thank you, Rosa. We really appreciate it. The current Viet Cong attacks, which were perfectly timed and coordinated, have even impressed the United States military. They achieved their ends with a degree of drama that will be remembered much longer than the American victories, quite less sensational in recent times. While the Pentagon assumes that the Viet Cong paid an expense for its current acts of terrorism, it seems that communist leaders see them as a shame. These acts were not acts of despair and did not involve a single regular North Vietnamese.
Televisors are our priority. That's why we share some facts about the situation in Vietnam. First off, the adversary, once believed to be restricted to the countryside, has proven that they are capable of attacking cities across the nation. In addition, a sizable hostile force between 40 and 50,000 soldiers are now gathered close to Khe Sanh. The conflict in Laos has also been restricted by the North Vietnamese, and combat commanders have reported that the enemy forces are acquiring more advanced, cutting-edge weapons, considerably boosting their firepower.
According to the passage, this might signal the start of a new, riskier stage of the conflict. The North Vietnamese may be intensifying their attacks, at least ditch effort, to strengthen their negotiating position before entering discussions or as means of trying to divert American forces for the Khe Sanh. It is impossible to overestimate how important the Vietnam War is to the extension to the USSR and world politics, because we fear that this becomes a terrible episode to American history.
Although the situation is uncertain as to what will happen in the coming months, we ask all of our viewers to pray for the world peace and remember the sacrifices made by those who fought and died in this distant land. We will see each other tomorrow at the same time on the same channel, with all the promises with reach of our televisors. That's all for today's news. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow. This was Studio 68, informing the nation.